So can you provide examples of successful home remodeling projects where starting the process effectively contributed to a smooth timeline and quality outcome?
Yeah. So in general, like one of the things that I like to do in creating an efficient timeline with our clients is making those choices, like with allocations, allowances. So the finishes, the tile, the flooring, that kind of stuff, and ordering it.
Okay.
Just because we're not going to start a job and then 2 weeks later we're like having to wait and pause the job, get the products started again, and then we have to wait again because we're still in for other stuff for another phase. We're going to make sure ahead of time before we start the construction that everything is in hand or available.
Okay.
And that way, what happens is that it keeps our schedule clean and efficient. There's no downtimes. There's no stoppages. Just because in life in general, if you start something and then you pause it and then you come back, a couple weeks later or even a couple months later, you're kind of having to start from ground zero or you're rusty. You have to kind of shake that rust off. And so it keeps the timeline fresh. It keeps it smaller too, which is obviously a benefit for the client and their project. But really it's a smooth sail all across the board. So we do a lot of pre-planning, and pre-planning does take a bit longer than a lot of people expect. Usually people think, it's filling in this and filling in that and you're good to go. There's a lot of time with cities and counties where depending on the project, it could take a couple weeks to a couple months for that permit to go through that review process. And so at that same point, we use that time to make those decisions and order those products because we're kind of doing it in a double take. We have, on one hand, we're doing the permitting process, and then on the other, we're doing the design and the choices. So by the time permitting is completed and reviewed and signed off, we have not only all the products ordered, but it's in hand to the point where when we do get permitting signed off, we could potentially start that job. We're almost soon thereafter. So then again, we're just keeping it going.
It's like a seamless transition.